in the early days, and it's still there, that people, if they go to a demonstration, the mindset of, okay, what will I learn? What will I learn? So they go to the demonstration and they see the person on the stage and they look at it and like, okay, it's cool, nice, 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 nice. And they want to focus themselves on the outcome. So the what will be the outcome is the objective of going to the demonstration. Magic happens not in the outcome, magic happens in the process. So people are now evaluated, which is really good. I love that. From the what, they went more to the how factor. So tell me how you did it. Show me the technique. Show me a new technique. Where are we going to focus yourself on the next one? And the next one is actually the why factor. Why are you putting this flower together with this flower? Why are you using that color palette? Why are you using the combination of this vase with this flower, with this transparency, with this texture? Why are you doing this? That should be the question. If you go to a demonstration, that should be your question. If it is a good demonstrator, you're going to say, because I'm using green and red, it's like 50-50 because it's complementary, and 50-50 green, 50 red, they lift each other up. They are not dominant because the proportion between red and green is 50-50. So if you could start to understand this, you will start to look as a designer, not only as design elements from the florist industry, you're going to start to see it from the masters itself, the painters. In the advanced class, we go to a museum. We go to a museum and said, okay, you have to choose that painting. And why? You have to know the why are you choosing that painting. And I don't want to hear, it's nice. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear rational reasons, because you're able to talk a language, because those colors are appealing, or those lines in that painting are so strong. And on that certain moment, you start to understand the language of design. If you start to understand that, you can implement that as a designer in your shop. The next thing what I'm going to share with you, a video, and it will be a demonstration, but it's a little bit a different demonstration, as you will see. It's a living demonstration, and we dive a little bit more into why. And sometimes I'm going to say, can you stop? Right? Because I'm going to dive a little bit into it, because why am I doing it? What is the reason? Why did I use that botanical? Why did it place that in that place? So I want you to take you in my creative process, in my creative thinking. So now what I'm going to do, looks a bit strange. I'm getting it out, right? So step by step. So here, the last thing, what I actually did is I was adding extra texture. Also, I was adding extra, how do you say, movement into it to make it more interesting to look at. Because now you can see on the bottom, it's a little bit too empty. So too much flowers are happening on the top, right? So so that's why I added more flowers on the bottom. You always start from a concept. So, and let me say this, very simple. You're creating a dome-shaped arrangement. Right? The first thing what you do is defining your silhouette. That means you're going to have 3 decorative controlled flowers, like roses. 1, 2, 3, and the top. That means you defined already the silhouette. That will be the space that I'm going to work in. This is already in my mind. So I don't have to take the decision anymore, or I don't have to think anymore, like, what should I do with the shape or the form? It's already decided from the first moment. Basically, what you already do, you eliminate so many actions of reflecting how to make your design. I have to admit, that's the way I work, but During the process, I can switch a little bit. I can go a little bit, but the big idea, the big concept, I always stick with the concept. In this case, what I do, I go back step by step, and you're going to see what flowers did I take. I'm not starting with the desert flowers. I'm not starting with those ones, right? Because I have chosen these flowers because of its color, that is for sure, but also from its texture. And the fact they are so massive, they are so dense, with only one single flower, I just put it in, the whole area is filled. Look how it grows. So I take this one out. You see what a difference? Only 2 stems. Look how much impact only those 2 blue stems made in my arrangement. Every flower that I add on my composition should have an added value on the composition. Added value functionally wise, serving the concept and the overall outcome. We all know that when we make for a bouquet for a client, and the client says, okay, you said I'm going to make you something, and I say, yeah, you can, you stop at 50. Yeah, okay, 50 euro, okay, you stop at 50. But then you said, okay, then you have 45, 49. Okay, I'm going to take that flower. 58. Yeah, but it's so beautiful. But 8 euros, you're 8 euros above budget. So it's better to use first the big one that you just want to take on the last, put it first in, and then add a Solidajo or a Gibson or whatever, something that you reach your 50 or your 49, 48 or whatever, or 51. We don't speak about €1, something like that. But that's how we work, and that's how you work consciously. Now, this is a chrysanthemum, beautiful color, right? You will see, I will get them out and you will see the result. And here I get the flower from behind. That flower is placed over there because I create depth. So I make my arrangement 3-dimensional. What happens if I put that flower out? You see what's happening? I'm start to losing my depth. So I'm start to losing value. What I'm doing here, I'm playing with the lines. You see, I'm kind of fiddling with that little flower, like, okay, well, how it has to work, right? So I'm not like planting, like, look, the line I used to break, it goes, and that's that feminine touch that we created. And what is strong here, now I started with the 2 wood elements. See, I create an order. So here I go for texture, but look at it. Army flowers, they have a huge surface. So what I'm doing, I create surfaces. I am filling space. I create a mass, right? Not too much, not too less, but I position them like this is the biggest one, right? I pull them out. Look what happens now. So much goes away from it. Only 1 stem. A golden rule. Every flower that I insert has a certain purpose. I'm not starting with all different flowers to each other. No, I build it up very consciously, step by step. I do advise you to do is always to start with the flowers with the biggest visually or physical impact. And why is this? Because they create your shape, your form, your body, the mass. So as you can see, those beautiful fritillaria, and I didn't clean them, but fritillaria is so beautiful because well, you get 2 flowers for 1. You got the flower, fritillaria, and then you got that green. You have control about how big you make your arrangement. That's 1. 2, also, if you divide your flowers, right, you have a control over the whole arrangement. But also you have more control about the colors. What happens with the colors? You also have more control about the botanicals on its own. So every flower has a potential. So you're using your flower to the best suitable potential you can. So imagine I have to create a band, a song, right? I have to put a music band on stage. Well, I'm going to search for the best singer, the best guitar player, and the best piano player, and I'm going to put them together. I will not ask the piano player to sing because we don't want to hear it. I'm searching for the best potential. Like now with this example, what I'm showing you with the fritillaria, it has the biggest potential to make impact color-wise, shape-wise, form-wise. Also, in the whole outcome, they're very like, there's a massive impact, correct? Those are the biggest flowers. I'm using these flowers for the first time. In here, I'm gonna put all the fritillaria out. By the way, I made that not in Oasis, I made that in TerraBrick. So now I remove the Bericlo, and you're gonna see I'm working on my skeleton, right? I build the mass, and I'm not using that much of material. And I'm showing here like, okay, what I'm doing, I just connect them. I need that, you remember that mechanics? I'm using that functional mechanic. I use that flat clipper. It goes really quick. And it is also a support material. So this Bericlo is helping to support my flowers. Sure, it's like building a house. You build a house on a foundation, on a strong foundation. If you build something, please, the functionality is more important than the aesthetics. The aesthetics you can always add, but not the functionality. I'm going out with those Bericlo. So see what's happening here, right? See what's happening. It's only one branch. Look what one branch is doing. Only one branch. I know, I admit, it's a big branch, right? But there we go. We go for the silhouettes. We create mass, this one also. So two branches, one branch and one branch. And that's it. On the end, we only have this. You also see to create depth in your displaying, if you make your arrangements in your flower shop, you see I'm working with depth. I'm not putting them next to each other. I put one a little bit in front of that one. I create a dimension. Basically, that is the construction. Two vases in the TerraBrick. What I'm doing here, I'm watching the TerraBrick, and I use the TerraBrick just to make my arrangements. The people go and first see the color. Then they go for the size. It's weird, real weird, but okay, that's who we are, human beings, right? Then, after seeing the size, they go for the shape. So weird, right? Then they go for the price, and then they go for the flowers. I give you an example. You're on the highway. You're on the highway, right? The first thing what you see on the highway is there's some like a yellow sign, right? You come close, Oh, it's an M. It's a big M, right? You go closer and say, oh, I can read it. It's McDonald's hamburger restaurant, right? That's how they work. I am not that smart, but I am smart enough to learn from the smart guys. And the smart guys are the people who are in the marketing. Because what they do, you have a product, right? How can I lift up that product? Like this mouse from Apple. Apple is really, I don't want to go too far, but just to give you an example. Apple is very smart. It's a very simple mouse. I'm saying in here, if you go for a demonstration, you go from a lecture, try to focus yourself on the Y factor. You will learn so much more. Forget those big seminars like new techniques, new things. No, there are no new techniques. The techniques are how you work techniques, how you combine techniques, how you use techniques, and so on. And why do you use the technique? That will give you the insight as a designer. Because some designers, they go like, okay, I want to see a new technique, and they just copy technique for that exactly same thing because they want to copy it. That doesn't work. You limit yourself. Creativity, the most beautiful thing it's infinite. That's the most beautiful thing on creativity. There is no limits on creativity. So like I said, like he was a smart guy, Einstein. He said like logic brings you from A to B, but imagination brings you all over the universe. And that is so true, right? And that's what we want to give you as creatives. We want you to give the imagination that you can transform yourself.